The Los Angeles Dodgers are the biggest winner of this year's MLB trade deadline. Now, obviously, I am saying all of that while excluding two other really big winners in the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers, who went out and acquired aces in their own right in Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. Now, the reason for excluding two of the biggest winners in free agency is because I've already talked about both of those acquisitions, and I don't really want to go over one of those teams when I've talked about the best part of their, deadline moves. So instead, I'm going to be going over four of the Dodgers' best acquisitions so far, and I want to talk about them because they're really interesting. Currently leading the NL West, one or two games above the Giants right now, and honestly, I believe that the Dodgers are the second best team in the NL. So the fact that they went out and made so many moves, really gets me going. I'm really excited for what the Dodgers have and, what they're going to be playing like in October. Honestly, the only team I see better than them in the NL currently would have to be the Atlanta Braves, who just have a little more talent all around. They've been playing slightly better, and their pitching staff is, miles ahead of what the Dodgers got. And that's not anything the Dodgers could do about it, really, because right now Clayton Kershaw is hurt. Walker Buehler is recovering from Tommy John, and he might return soon, but nobody really knows. We all know what happened with Trevor Bauer. I don't know if that last team he was with the Cleveland Indians, but I remember his time with the Dodgers. He's no longer there for reasons not worth getting into. And then they've also got guys like Tony Gonsolin and Julio Urias who have scuffed, and Dustin May's arm blew out again. So you've got all of that going on with the Dodgers pitching staff, which has led to them going out and getting two new pitchers, one being starting pitcher, and the other being a bullpen pitcher. But the first one I want to get into would have to be former Dodger Joe Kelly, who is coming over from the Chicago White Sox. And, before he was with the White Sox, he had been with the Dodgers for about 3 seasons from 2019 to 2021. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure Joe Kelly was on the Dodgers team that won a World Series just a few years ago. Now, Joe Kelly's best season with the Dodgers would have to be his last season back in 2021, considering the fact that 2020 got cut short due to COVID, and 2019 was a little rocky for Kelly. But, in 2021, I'd say he had his best season. Had about a 2.86 ERA, played in about 48 games, which is a good portion of the season, 44 innings pitched, and, he did his job. He did his job so well, in fact, that the Chicago White Sox that very offseason went out and gave him a big deal. And, he'd been with the White Sox for about 2 years. He'd been with the White Sox, and in 2023, so far this season, he's had about 1 win and 5 losses. And that's not really the kind of numbers you want to see, considering the fact that he is a bullpen pitcher. He's not starting in these games, so he did cost the White Sox about 5 games. I don't know if all 5 of those losses were to blame on him, but, that went to his record. He has about a 5.0 ERA right now, so he's not at his best, but hopefully coming back to LA is an improvement for Joe Kelly, and he's able to turn things around this season. Go back to his old form when he was with the Dodgers. Hell, even when he was with Boston, he was really good with Boston. Joe Kelly on Boston, let's not forget how good he was there before he went to LA. So, this man has had success in the past. Hopefully he finds it again after leaving Chicago, which, wasn't the best for him, obviously, because he struggled. Now, another former Dodger that they went out and acquired at the deadline was Kiki Hernandez. That's right, the infielding superstar that he is, more like a utility man, if we're being honest, but he played with the Dodgers for way longer, from 2015 to about 2020. Kiki Hernandez was with the Dodgers. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was also on that World Series Dodgers championship team. I'm pretty sure they won the ring in 2020. So, yeah, he'd been with the Dodgers for about 6 seasons, most of his career, before heading to Boston in 2021, where he spent the last 2.5 seasons, I'd say. And in 2023 for the Boston Red Sox so far, Kiki Hernandez had about, I want to say, a 2.22 batting average with a 320 slugging and OPS of about 599. Now, those numbers might not look the best, but that was mainly just because the team as a whole was struggling, and it's kind of hard to get yourself in a groove when your whole team is thrown off. I mean, the Boston Red Sox are sitting at about 500, which isn't bad, but when you're playing in the AL East, that'll put you at about last place in the division, and you can start to see why Boston, moved on from Kiki and shipped him to LA. Now, he is another player like Joe Kelly who had some of his best seasons with the Dodgers. I mean, back when he was with the Dodgers, that slugging percentage was all the way up to 400, even 470 at one point, and that batting average was floating at about a mid 250. So, you know, it was up, not too much up, but it was up. And the OPS shot was all the way up to about 800 when he was with the Dodgers. So he's had some of his best seasons with LA, and I could see why they decided to bring him back, same as Joe Kelly, another good utility man who they can just throw in there. He did play a lot of games for Boston this season. He was mainly a starter. And, you know, he's seen some minutes so far with LA. I mean, the trade happened a few days ago, obviously. It's not like the newest trade, right? But he's been with the Dodgers and he's played pretty solid. I mean, his batting average is about 333. Take that with a grain of salt, though, because he's only played in 4 games. So it's bound to change, right? Now, another key acquisition the Dodgers went out and made was getting Ahmed Rosario, a shortstop from the Cleveland Guardians. Now, Ahmed Rosario has been around the league a little bit. He started his career with the New York Mets. That's where he spent the first 4-ish seasons before, you know, signing with the Cleveland Guardians back in 2021. And since then, he's been with the team. Now, in 2023 with the Cleveland Guardians, he's played in about 94-ish games and a 2.65 ERA, an on-base percentage of about 306, slugging about 365. So you're looking at about the same numbers that Kiki Hernandez was producing in Boston, another player who's kind of been underperforming. And the Dodgers said, why not make a move for him and, you know, get back his value. You know what I'm saying? Because this might not have been his best season, but before 2023, Ahmed Rosario was playing, you know, a little better. In his prime, he was a high 280s in the batting average, and his slugging was much higher. So hopefully, now that he's with the Dodgers, he can like rejuvenate his career just a bit. Plus, he's another key piece they can throw in the infield if any other guys need a day off. I mean, I know they got Mookie Betts out here playing in the infield when he's primarily an outfielder. I mean, the guy does love to play the infield. But I'm just saying, you know, maybe you could put Mookie Betts where he feels the most comfortable. Although he is a freak athlete, so I think anywhere they put him, he is going to ball out, really. Now, the final move that the Dodgers made that I want to talk about would have to be acquiring starting pitcher Lance Lynn. Now, Lance Lynn is pretty old. He's had quite a long career, but, you know, I think this is probably the best move that the Dodgers made considering how weak their pitching staff is currently. Now, he is 36, like I said. He was with the Chicago White Sox along with Joe Kelly. So I don't know if they came over in the same deal. I'm pretty sure they did, though. There's that. Yes, with the Chicago White Sox, Lance Lynn was, you know, struggling a bit, just like every other player. But just like every other player, he had been doing good only a few seasons ago, and I think that's what the Dodgers are trying to recreate here. What they had back in 2018, 2019. They're trying to get those seasons from these guys. But let's just continue to look at the rest of Lance Lynn's numbers so far. He is 6-9 with about a 6.47 ERA. And I know while I am filming this video, he is currently pitching against my Oakland A's, and I want to say he just beat them. He gave up a few home runs here and there, but other than that, he kept the A's on lock. Now, they are the worst team in baseball, so take it with a grain of salt. But Lance Lynn did perform really solid for his first outing with the Dodgers, so just remember that going forward. All these guys have struggled a bit, but the Dodgers are looking to make something happen here, and I think, you know, they are one of the best teams in baseball, so they don't need to make a ton of moves. They just need to make enough moves, you know? So I think they improved their team enough to have a good trade deadline. The best trade deadline, besides, you know, the teams I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Anyway, that's about it. That's all I wanted to say about the Dodgers. Catch y'all later. Much love. Deuces, I'm out.